What's good, sports fans, and welcome to another edition of Field Vision, brought to you, of course, by War Room Sports and Sports Kings. I'm one of your hosts, Devin, and I'm here with my brothers, B. Austin, War Room Sports.
Math Hoffa, you a noodle. Bonnie Godiva, get at me.
Frank, Sports Kings.
I was just here to pay my respects to the Pittsburgh Steelers, man. Rest in peace. It's been nice knowing you.
And we got Jimmy of War Room Sports.
Yes, shout out to the ladies who love my Jim the Anvil Neidhart beard.
All right, and Jim and Justin of the Sports Kings couldn't be with us this evening, but
because one's a Raiders fan and one's a Steelers fan.
But shout out to those guys. We still got your picks here, so we're gonna let everybody know, what the deal is later on in the show. But fellas, let's get right into it because some big NFL news broke recently. And this is rare because we really don't see this kind of stuff during the season. Blockbuster trade. The Cleveland Browns sent Trent Richardson, running back, to the Indianapolis Colts for a 2014 first-round pick. Now, when you guys heard this, like I said, this is a rare occurrence that, blockbusters go on during the season. Were you guys surprised, and what is Cleveland doing right now?
Completely and utterly shocked, because at this point, I guess what they're doing is they're conceding that Brandon Weeden ain't ish, and they have literally no hope of any shot at winning that division. So they're going 110% tank the season and rebuild. So for Trent, they got I believe it was a first round pick, pretty high.
Yeah.
2014.
Well, you don't know how high it is yet.
So,
yeah.
I think it might be. I mean, because
I think it might be pretty high because they're not going to win that many games.
But I don't really think. I thought last year may have been a little bit of an aberration for the Colts. I think they're going to be a good team, but I'm not sure if they're ready to step to that level yet. However, with this trade, offensively, he's kind of just what they needed. They just lost Vic Ballard for the whole season, and face it, Vic Ballard wasn't the truth anyway. So Trent Richardson getting to play with, Luck, Reggie Wayne, and T.Y. Hilton and all those guys, that's a pretty good pickup. Frank, who takes the season in week 2? Who does that?
I don't understand how you can trade the only person on your team that's actually going to be on an NFL roster in 3 years. I don't know how you do that.
Or the only guy who's going to put...
They still got Joe Hayden.
Yeah, but
that's true. I shouldn't hate on Joe Hayden. I'm not hating on Joe Hayden. That's right. That's
Joe
true.
Hayden not filling the seats, though. They came to see Trent.
And now, Joe Hayden's going to be doing a lot of defending after all those 3 outs, man.
No, I just think, like, when I first saw this, I was in shock as everyone else was. I think that something's going on. Something's fishy. I think Tim Donaghy's somehow involved.
Oh, man.
This needs to be investigated because I don't know what's going on. Like, how can you tank the season? Imagine living in Cleveland and being a Browns fan. Imagine being a season ticket holder for the Cleveland Browns. How do you wake up tomorrow morning and you still have, 7 games to go to that you have tickets for? Like, they just devalued your life.
They've done this before, man. Maybe they can get LeBron.
I see what you did there.
Tanking the season to get LeBron.
Is there a LeBron coming out this year that will be eligible for the draft? Like, is Teddy Bridgewater that good that you tank the season in week 2? Like,
Johnny Football.
They're gonna pick up Johnny Manziel.
Johnny Football.
Right,
something I wanted to mention was somebody brought this to my attention for the site here. They had 2 picks in the first round a couple years ago. One was Trent Richardson, who they just traded away. The other one was Brandon Weeden. So they literally have nothing to show for a draft that just happened 2 years ago.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
Yo, the crazy part? The crazy part about this is, Jacksonville is still the worst team.
I know.
Oh,
I know.
Man.
Cleveland probably still win more games than Jacksonville. The best part about this situation, and I'm making this totally personal now, is that Trent Richardson is on my fantasy team. And I think now playing with Andrew Luck in the offense like the Indianapolis Colts, he will now have a chance. He didn't have a chance in Cleveland because in Cleveland, Wheaton's thinking of the joint.
People in the box.
Yeah. They put about 104, 105 people in the box, and their main objective, their only objective, was to stop Trent Richardson. So now he's on a team that has a balance. They have a threat passing the ball, so that should open up some running lanes. But
man,
that was just my personal take on that. That was
F
my
your team, yo, because I'm salty because his value went up 1,000-fold.
Yeah. And I was getting a little frustrated. I was gonna put him on the trading block.
Surprisingly, he's a good receiver out of the backfield. So,
he's in the right place, man. He's definitely in the right place.
Unless there's something else with this deal that we don't know about. Maybe he got some physical injury that Cleveland's trying to dump off on somebody else.
No. The bull made a grant.
Well, he might be about to get arrested or something.
He might have a case pending.
Yeah, it does seem a little fishy, but
560 V12 engine. Like something is up here, man.
It's the Browns, so we can't.
I mean, they did get a first-round pick for him. It's not like they traded him away for nothing.
I mean, it's true.
It's gonna be a first-round pick in the 20s because Indianapolis is gonna make the playoffs now.
Yeah, but he was your first-round pick like last year. How do you give up on that quickly?
Listen, I'm not saying it's the right move. I'm just saying it's not like they traded him for a bowl of chili. You know what I mean? They got something.
Until we found out he got some injury that we don't know about, like Cleveland.
No, he's not injured, man. Yo, the bull made of rock.
Yo, what you mean not injured? He's been injured before.
I think he was injured last year.
Yeah, he's always injured. What are you talking about? He was injured in college a couple times. He's always injured. But maybe it's something deeper than with these little injuries that keep him out for a couple weeks. But
got that magic. But anyway, well, all right.
So he met a cookie.
Let's move on
and got the monster.
This is a topic that we wanted to talk about. That I wanted to talk about with you guys today. There's some teams in the NFL right now who are 0-2, and for different reasons. All three of these teams may be a surprise. Talking about the Pittsburgh Steelers, the surprise is not that we thought the Steelers were going to be good. It's just that we're not used to seeing the Steelers at 0-2. The New York Giants, I don't think anybody thought they would be 0-2, 1-1 at the worst, because they did have to play the Denver Broncos and then the Washington Redskins. Like, I'm not surprised. I'm used to the Washington Redskins being 0-2. But, with what they did last year, the expectations for the Washington Redskins were way up. So I think a lot of people, mainly the people in Washington, are very shocked to see this team at 0-2. So let's talk about the Steelers real quick. I mean, is there anything you guys think the Steelers can do to right the ship this year? What can they do better than what they're doing right now? Why are they 0-2?
They're 0-2 because they can't run the ball. They have Pilar Maglabai as a running back, and their line is like falling apart. So, no.
I mean, since I've been watching football, Pittsburgh has been a team that has dominated in the trenches, and that's just not happening.
Yeah,
like,
their line.
Their offensive line is getting pushed backwards. Their defensive line is getting pushed backwards.
No, their D is okay, though.
No, but just listen to me. It's not the Steelers that we're accustomed to seeing where they get pressure without a blitz. Their defensive tackles hold their own. As of right now in the trenches on both sides, like, the defense is playing well overall. But this is not the Steelers team that I grew up accustomed to watching where they dominated in the trenches on both sides. It's crazy.
Kiesel is still balling at 106 with a big beard. Shout out to him. I mean, their D is okay. It's probably not as good as it's been in the past, but overall,
probably.
But you know what, B. Austin? Another thing is they could be tired from being on the field all damn day. So by the time the third quarter comes around, they're getting pushed backwards because they've been on the field the whole first half.
That's a good point. Yeah.
They're just not a good football team. That's the bottom line. They just stink. Yeah. They're just not. I mean, anytime you have Felix Jones getting double-digit carries for you, that's not a good sign for your football team. I mean, but seriously though, Heath Miller was a big loss for them. That's been security blanket.
I call Felix Jones Pilar Maglabai.
Yeah.
Did you know Felix Jones been in the league 6 years? He's been in the league 6 years. It seemed like just yesterday that Jerry Jones was like selling the farm to draft that dude.
I think he drafted him because his last name was Jones.
No, he drafted him because he's from his alma mater, and McFadden wasn't available, so he said we're going to take the next best thing. I knew some Dallas Cowboys fans who actually thought it was a good move, but anything Jera does, everybody thinks it's a good move. Yeah, so like Jimmy said, these aren't the Pittsburgh Steelers that we're accustomed to seeing, and I think that's why, we put them in this surprise list. Like I said, I don't think anybody here thought that they were actually a good team.
And
It's just that we're just not used to seeing Pittsburgh Steelers.
Antonio Brown is nice, but he's not really a number one.
He's all right, but he's not real.
He's
That's
not
what you
real.
really said.
Yeah, he's all right, but he's not real. And
Yeah, they don't have a number one guy. I mean, Sanders and Brown are both number two receivers.
Dude,
You know what I mean?
dude is the type. No, Sanders is a number 4. He's a gangbanger. And they're, Big Ben is not a what you call a precision passer. He's not.
He's a play extender.
He's a run around and not get tackled and sandlot clutch player, and so that's not working when you don't have a running game. No one is afraid of Pilar Muglaba getting the ball.
And Dev, just to get back to your original question, it's amazing, like you said, because the Steelers are the Steelers. I give them credit for one thing: they still try to stick with the run, although they can't run. But when you look at the name of those teams, you talk about the Redskins, the Giants, the Steelers. Those are 3 of the marquee teams in the NFL. So it's just crazy. They have 3 of the biggest fan bases.
The Giants, yes, marquee, definitely. But why are the Redskins marquee?
Well, because
they're a marquee franchise.
They're a marquee franchise. Love them or hate them because they have a huge fan base. They have history. Yeah. I mean, so they're definitely a marquee franchise.
Second most valuable franchise in the league.
Oh yeah. I'm well aware of business decisions and marketing by their owner.
But they are.
That's why I use the word franchise instead of team.
They're a marquee franchise. They definitely are a marquee franchise. As well as the Steelers and as well as the Giants. So to see all 3 of them have a down year like this. Now, of course, we're not.
No, wait, hold on. And because back to the franchise thing, the difference between the franchise and the actual team. Are you really shocked over the last, say, decade to 12 years that they would have a down year, though?
Not at all, because did the Redskins start 0-2 last year?
No, he's saying...
I know they stunk at the beginning of the year. Were they 0-2 last year?
No, I don't think so,
No, I don't
because they said no team has made the playoffs in the last 5 years that it started 0-2.
All right, so they were 3-6 at one point.
Yeah, they were
3-6.
And I'm not even ready to call it a down year. All 3 of these teams could rebound.
Oh, we're talking about right now.
Yeah, we just don't know. So they don't start. So let's talk about Frank's Giants for a minute.
Let's not.
Definitely surprised with that. B. Austin, I know B. Austin picked them to win the NFC East.
I did.
I picked them to come in second to the Cowboys this season.
As did I.
What's plaguing the Giants right now?
Tough ass
schedule. I'd rather have Frank run the ball north and south than Brandon Jacobs run it east and west.
I mean, they have a tough schedule. The first game, their running back was dribbling. They have a tough. I mean, the first 2 games were tough games. I mean, a division game against Dallas, and like I said, you turn the ball over a gazillion times, and you still could have won the game. And then Dallas played that well, and then you just happened to play the best team in football. So and you weren't going to win that game anyway.
It's really simple. You can't play one-dimensionally. You can't play a one-dimensional game, especially because Eli's not mobile by any stretch of the imagination. He needs to have room to operate, and I'm usually an Eli apologist, but he's been bad. He hasn't been good. He's been forcing a lot of stuff, a lot because he has to. And the defense, Giants used to be known for rushing the quarterback, and I don't know where that's gone, but it's not present right now. Their linebackers are a mess.
Haven't really seen the NASCAR package this year.
I am a Herzlich fan.
I like him.
He's not good.
No.
And I'm not a fan because he's good. I'm a fan because of his story. He overcame cancer. If you have to depend on Herzlich being in the game that much and not on special teams, there's a serious problem.
Yeah, I mean,
linebackers
just think about this for a second. Coming into week 4 of the preseason, the Giants didn't have a starting linebacker position set. Everybody was still fighting for starting positions. That's not good. If you don't have somebody, you could say he's going to start week 1 by the end of week 2 of the preseason. That's not a good start at all.
Is it time yet to start threatening Coughlin for his job so y'all can roll off 6-7 straight?
Win the Super Bowl. He wins under pressure.
I hate when people. I love Coughlin. I think he's. I never want to fire Coughlin, but obviously at some point you got to. But not me.
It's not time for that yet, so we don't even need to talk about that. But Frank, as a fan of the New York Giants, Are you all in with David Wilson? Because like Jimmy said, he was trying to show off his Kenny Andersons, in the first game or so.
He goes behind the back like nobody else.
But they got him on the Tiki program, teaching him how to carry the ball, in a crowd and everything. And he even had his little Twitter rant telling people that they're irrelevant to him and he's harder on himself than anybody ever could be. Are you all in with him as the running back? You think he can fix the problem?
Not at all. I mean, I wasn't even in on him in the preseason when people were buying him and he was going in like the 4th round fantasy drafts. I was like, what are you people talking about? I didn't understand why they let Bradshaw go. I thought Bradshaw was, wasn't healthy, obviously, but he was consistent. You know what I mean? 3 down back, could run the ball, could make a difference. But I think Wilson's not a 3 down back. I think he's a speed threat. He's a, what Felix Jones should actually be if he wasn't such a failure. And I mean, but I don't think Wilson's the answer at all. McGahee's obviously gone now to the Browns, but I thought they should have signed McGahee.
So he still should have just been insurance for an often injured
real starter,
Ahmad Bradshaw.
Right. So, I honestly like Andre Brown better than David Wilson, but obviously he's down with broken leg, I believe.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you a question, Frank, because you are a basketball junkie. Who has a better handle, David Wilson or CP3?
Darren Williams.
There you go. But okay, so let's move on to the Washington Redskins. Why is this team 0-2? The expectations were really high from last season. All we heard about during the offseason was Robert Griffin III and his knee and being all in for week 1. Even now, after an 0-2 start and him struggling a little bit, he's still saying there's no issues with the knee. Out of everything he's done in the media lately, this is like the only thing I actually respect, the fact that he's not using the knee as
in honor of Doc
an excuse.
Day, in honor of Doc, I got this one. I got it. Several things I've noticed, and it goes back to something that you said both in social media, some of the conversations we've had, and on air. The Redskins have not done anything to improve as a team. This is the same group of guys, maybe minus Arakpo and Kerrigan, that were 3-6 last season. Now they went on a miraculous run, a 7-0 run. They had RG3 kind of clicking on all cylinders, making plays. Alfred Morris was not bottled up. He was balling, but they didn't improve. The offensive line is still what I would consider suspect. So on the offensive side of the ball, you have a suspect offensive line. You got a quarterback coming off of a serious knee injury that he bust his ass to come back from. However, a lot of times when you think about the NFL, quarterbacks make their biggest leap in terms of forward progress between their first and second season. So when you're not spending time in OTAs and preseason getting better, you're spending that time rehabbing. It's questionable as to how much more improved Robert Griffin is as a pocket passer and stepping to the next level. So you
know what, Bielson? Living in the DC area, that they hold RG3 up here as a god. So I think it was a situation where you're exactly right, but the fans, were so bent on this guy already knowing everything. I think he started to believe his own. He started to believe his own hype, and he feels that he lit the league on fire so much last year that he was just going to come back without OTAs, without training camp, and everything was just going to be easy.
Pop, rocks, and Tootsie Pops.
Now,
Pop, rocks, and Tootsie.
When you find that they're down so far in the first half, and I'm going to give them a little bit of an excuse. They're down so far in the first half that what he's saying is, it's not that I'm not running, and it's not because of the injury. It's because there aren't that many designed runs in our 2-minute offense, because we have to run our 2-minute offense because we're so far down.
For 30 minutes.
Yeah, we got to run our 2-minute offense for 30 minutes to get back in the game or to give ourselves a chance. Then on the defensive side of the ball, I'll be honest, man. Their secondary, I'll take us 4 gentlemen at the corners and safety positions over.
I heard a stat where they said in the first 2 games, the Washington Redskins defense have missed 30 tackles. 30 tackles.
Kenyon Rambo.
Here's something else that nobody's saying,
guard.
The reason they're 0-2 is because of nepotism, because there's no way Mike Shanahan should have hired Kyle Shanahan to do that job because he's just not that good at it. I mean, at the end of the day, Mike Shanahan had his success with great assistant coaches, and now he's bringing in families and cousins and things of that nature. So it's not going to work. Man. I'm not a college fan.
But those are the valleys and peaks.
Do they not have the personnel to run the system though?
But those are the valleys and peaks of the offense in Washington D.C. Because a year ago, they were saying this. Kyle shouldn't be the offensive coordinator, and then last year they have the success
7-0 run
with RG3.
Despite Kyle Shanahan.
Now Kyle Shanahan is a genius. I'm just telling you, how they talk.
Oh yeah.
Now he's a genius.
Let's be honest, though. Let's be honest. The
right.
expectations were too high to begin with, even coming into the season. Last season was a mirage. They were still 3-6, like we're saying. The biggest problem is that RG3 just isn't RG3. He creates the offense. Alfred Morris is only effective last season because everybody's thinking RG3 is going to run. You take that out of the equation, and Alfred Morris is, I don't know, he's just an average running back. I'm not saying he's not good, but without the threat of RG3, Alfred Morris can't get moving. The line doesn't get moving. There's nothing mobile. And, I mean, to be honest, for me, it's just growing pains. This is just something they have to go through because RG3 is their quarterback. All these people talking about Kirk Cousins, sit down.
He's not going to be benched, and he shouldn't be benched. That would be stupid.
No,
it's stupid.
It makes no sense.
It's stupid that people's even bringing that up. But as far as what Frank said, like RG3 is not being RG3, I personally, and I've been saying this since last season when he was doing well in the offseason, I still really don't know who RG3 is because what Frank's talking about is the threat of him running the ball. Now, if you watch the Redskins offense last year, you saw that they threw a lot of stuff at the line of scrimmage, a lot of stuff 5 yards and in, and they'll lull you to sleep and then throw the ball long. They didn't do a lot of timing stuff, mid-range and everything, what I like to call the big boy throws. This season, I think they were ready to, move on a little bit. Like, because a lot of people was wondering why he's not running, but I don't think their plan was to do a whole bunch of read option this season anyway. So this season they were trying to move him into a little bit more of a big boy offense, and you're starting to see those throws that they didn't attempt too much of last year, and he's not as accurate as people think.
I mean, so do you think?
When you're dinking and dunking, of course your percentage is going to be way up.
So you're saying they're taking a step backwards in order to take a step forward in the future?
I think they are and I still think it's something that they have to do right now. You can't keep babying him in the system, making him throw all these dinks and dunks, but still trying to tell the world that he's the most talented quarterback in the world. You have to let him go out there and be a quarterback. So,
I don't think it's about him running. I don't think it's about him running as much as it's about there's not even the threat. Like, they know he's not moving. He's not running. At least last year they had to plan for it. You have to plan, hey, if RG3 gets loose, he's going 70 yards, nobody's going to catch him.
Then there's another factor to that. I also don't think his receiving core is that good.
Pierre Garçon?
I don't
think they're that bad.
He owes his life to one Peyton Manning. Santana Moss, God bless him, carved out a nice little career for himself. Now that they're not comparing him to Steve down in Carolina, he's okay. Not good, not great. Josh Morgan is an athletic bum. Fred Davis is.
Fred Davis is going to get his spot taken soon.
Fred Davis is a clown.
Yeah, I don't know what he is.
All right. I mean, we don't have to run down their whole
pretty much.
But what you guys were saying earlier, I think that's also the case. And I have this argument with Redskins fans, people who cover the team, write for the team, stuff like that. They all drink the Kool-Aid on the positive, but nobody stops to think about the negative. Nobody, after the 7-0 ending to last season, everybody just takes that chunk of the season and assumes that the next 5 years is going to be like that. Nobody stops to wonder, well, why were we 3-6 in the first place? Even after week 1, I wrote an article on this, referencing the ending from last year and the Philadelphia Eagles game. People saw the second half and how they almost came back. I don't really think it was ever a threat, but they hung their hat on the end of that game instead of wondering why you were down 33-7 in the first place.
They're delusional.
They don't really look at the reason why they're struggling. They just go on any glimmer of hope they have, and they think that's how it's going to be.
God bless them. That's why they're fans.
We still don't know if this team is the 3-6 team or the 7-0 team, or if they're somewhere in the middle.
Kind of a related question. Related question. Do you guys think 9 wins the NFC East at this point?
8 wins.
I think 9 wins does win the NFC East. That's why everybody's still in it. But at the same time, the Redskins aren't used to playing this first place schedule either. You know, they're the only ones that have the Packers on their schedule, and I don't know. And they have the Lions coming in this week, so that's another test for that defense. And if the offense doesn't help them out, you know, with all the 3 and outs, then the defense is going to be out there sucking wind and getting beat all over again. So,
speaking of that Lions game though, isn't that one of the games that we all have the same? Like,
yeah, I think everybody has that. So let's get into our picks now, because I don't know about you fellas, but I personally didn't have the Skins being better than 8-8 this season anyway. So I don't think they're going to salvage the season.
I had them in last place, so you know it is what it is.
I had them fighting for last with the Philadelphia Eagles, so it's looking good. So let's do our picks real quick before we get out of here. Let's just go over the games first, and we're including Justin and Jim in this. Of course, they're not here, but all the games that we have the same, so we don't have to go over all of the games. We all had the Lions over the Redskins. We all had the Saints over the Cardinals, Cowboys over Rams, 49ers over the Colts, Seahawks over the Jags, and the Broncos over the Raiders on Monday night. So let's start with Thursday night's reunion between Andy Reid and the Philadelphia Eagles. Chief said Eagles. B. Austin, who you got?
I got Fat Andy, Big Red.
All right, I actually got the home team taking this one. They're retiring Donovan McNabb's jersey at halftime. You know, maybe the team will get up for that. Frank.
First of all, my apologies to you guys. You guys totally called the Eagles flop against the Chargers, but I got the Eagles.
We knew it.
Yeah, I got the
stinks to high hell.
Yeah, I got the Chiefs in this game. And by the way, the Eagles run that game, went to overtime. I got the Chiefs though. Let's just keep them. I got the Chiefs.
All right, Texans at Ravens. Jimmy.
I have the Texans.
Frank.
Ravens.
I got the Texans. B. Austin, who you got?
I think I got big Texans.
All right, Frank's Giants at the Panthers. B. Austin, who you got?
Giants.
I got the Giants as well, Frank.
Can't happen. Can't go 0-3. Giants.
I have the Carolina Panthers.
Woo! Killer Cam.
I love Cam, though. I got a man crush on Cam.
Cam killer.
I told you.
Cam keep computers putin', man.
All right, then we got the Chargers visiting the kind of surprising Tennessee Titans. Jimmy, who you
Remember
got?
the Titans, yo.
Frank?
Seconded. Remember those Titans.
All right, I'm going to take the Chargers. They better win after they embarrassed my team last week. B. Austin, who you got, Chargers or Titans?
San Diego Superchargers. Air Coryell.
Right. We're going to go with the Buccaneers and the Patriots. B. Austin, who you taking?
I can't pick the Buccaneers. I'm going with the Pats.
All right, this is my upset special of the week. I got the Buccaneers going into Foxborough and getting a win against the hapless offense of the New England Patriots. Frank, who you got?
Can't believe you got that out with a straight face. Patriots, man.
Yo, Jimmy. I can't believe it, dude. I got the Buccaneers as well. That's why I'm shocked anybody else picked that.
Listen,
that was my upset.
The Buccaneers are 10 seconds, literally 10 seconds from being 2-0. They're stupid mistakes away from being 2-0. And this week they had some stuff going on with the coach. Everybody kissed and made up. I think they're gonna go up there and surprise everybody.
But they have like a civil war going on in the locker room. How are you gonna win with a civil war going on?
That's why they're gonna win, yo.
When they're down, and it's gonna be like a 1 week thing. It's not gonna last through the season, but they're gonna go up there and win. But when they're down 30 at the half, nobody called me.
Yo, they're gonna win the game for G baby. Win the game for G baby.
Packers and Bengals, Jimmy.
I got the Bengals.
All right, Frank, go ahead.
Bengals.
All right, I got the Packers going in on the road and taking this one. B. Austin?
Woo!
Oh, we did the picks.
Come on, son.
Bengals.
Huh?
Bengals.
Did you really pick the Bengals, man? We're going to go check, man.
Yeah, let's go check, man.
So you're not flip-flopping, because what you thinking about? What you thinking about?
We got John Kerry over here.
All right, so let's go Browns, the new look Browns, at the Minnesota Vikings. B. Austin.
Picked the Browns, but that was before the trade. I'm going to stick with the Browns.
I got the Vikings pre-trade, post-trade, while the trade was going on, and 2 years after the trade. Frank?
Vikings. I don't even know what to say. Vikings.
Yo, Vikings. Yo, I had them beforehand, and I'm not changing.
Why was this not a unanimous one? All right, we're going to go Falcons at
Because the Cleveland Browns actually had an NFL player when we picked the game.
Yeah, one or two. One on offense, one on defense. Jimmy, Falcons at Dolphins.
Falcons.
Frank?
Dolphins.
What?
I'm going to go Falcons. B. Austin?
Dolphins.
All right, let's go Bills at Jets.
B. Austin?
B. Austin.
Bills.
All right, I'm going to go with the Bills myself. This was difficult to pick for me. It's the same team to me. Frank?
Same team, but one has better quarterback. Bills.
I don't know. It's a rookie thing, so week after week, one may be better than the next. Jimmy?
The Bills.
The Bills. All right.
Because they got E.J. Emanuel.
And our last one of the day is the Chicago Bears versus Jim's Pittsburgh Steelers. Jimmy?
Yo, I got the Bears winning despite 3 interceptions by Cutler. Because he's going to throw 3 interceptions and 3 touchdowns. That's what he does.
Mm-hmm. Equals it out. Frank?
I actually have to amend one of my picks. I had the Falcons over the Dolphins. And I have Jim Ricalto's Steelers getting on the board.
Woo!
Whoa!
On the board.
That's the thing. Like the Steelers, even when we think they're a bad team, they have to be competitive. They have to almost make the playoffs. So I'll pick them one of these days.
Yo,
but I'm not picking them today.
Omar Epps got to get them together, yo. They got to.
Yeah, the Bears kind of sneaky stink though. They're not good.
I'm gonna go with the Bears on this one. B. Austin, who you got?
I got the Bears edging it.
Edging it.
Okay.
Edging it.
He called the Bears a silent fart, yo.
He's in his sneaky. All right, so look, one of these weeks we'll do maybe we'll do it quarterly during the season. We'll tally it up to see who's leading in our pick segment. But not now, everybody. We're gonna get out of here. Thanks again for joining us for another episode of Field Vision, of course, brought to you by War Room Sports and the Sports Kings. Like we always tell you guys, don't accept mediocrity. Wait a minute. Before I tell you that, make sure you like the video. Make sure you share the video with friends. You can say what you got to say, and we can tell you that you're wrong. So now, don't accept mediocrity and be steadfast in the war against ignorance.
See you chumps on top.
Edging it.
Kuwait, it's the war room with 5 nights at the round table. 5 Philly guys diversified and educated.